Shit. Hold on.
Okay, well, we're live. We are live. Welcome, everybody, to the Not Your Average Joe Show. And we've got a treat for you today. We're going to talk about how to wow your customers. We've got Kellen with us, and we'll be right back with you.
This is the Not Your Average Joe Show, where each week we bring you sales, marketing, and mindset strategies you need to get to your next level. And now, here's your host, international business mentor, Joe Soto.
I did hear a little bit of echo there. Hey, Kellen, how are you? Welcome to
Hey.
the show.
I thank you so much. I love the music. I'm like, whoa.
Kellen, you're the first. Well, I hear somebody's mowing outside your yard right there. You're the first female on the Not Your Average Joe Show. Welcome.
Really?
Because you're not average.
Oh, thank you.
That's why you're here. So I was really thrilled when I heard your story, and you had me on your show. That was awesome. And so I want to first just give people a little bit of background. Kellen, who was working full time, but recently quit her job to pursue and take on what was her side hustle, but now is taken over as your full-time new career and entrepreneurial opportunity. So for those people who are watching who go, how do I create a side hustle that could turn into my full-time work? You're in the right place.
Yes.
We've got somebody who just did that. Okay.
Literally, like last week.
Yes, just last week. So as of the time we're doing this show, we're doing it live, but it'll also be on all the podcast channels. Somebody might be listening to it in their car by the time they actually hear this. Give us a little backstory. And then the theme of today is how to wow your customers. And it's because the name of your business, one of your businesses, at least the main one, and now you've got some spin-off brands coming, but it's called Cards That Wow, cards.wow.com. Let's talk about how this came to be. First of all, give me the backstory. Like, what was the inspiration to start a side hustle or part-time business? And where did the idea come from?
Well, I could go back a little bit farther just to say that nothing I had done up until this point was wow worthy. I was a commercial real estate broker for a long time. I hated it. I'm a very creative person. My degree is in art and economics, but I never was in the career that made me go, wow. So during the pandemic, my job, it was challenging for me. I was sold advertising for a commercial real estate media company. And, everybody put on the brakes and, they decide, they're not spending money on advertising. And I still met my goals and I did very well, but it was so hard. I was working so hard, and it just made me realize that I shouldn't be so miserable and working so hard for so little. So, hi, Brad. So I sent some cards out to some friends, in our Megamind group, and Ronnie Goodwin that I'd made. And Ronnie, he called me, or I called him, and he said, "Why don't you sell these?" And I said, "Oh, nobody could afford them." And then he said, "Kellen, you're not targeting the right market. You've got the wrong target." And between him and Jen Gitomer, who's coached me a little bit, I've created the market, my dream market, and it started growing and growing. And then it was to the point where I was making more money selling my cards than I was with my day job, because I was working like till 2 a.m, almost every night, just getting my orders done, because I was true to my day job. I didn't want to, cheat them out of the time. Right. And it just got harder and harder to stay. So I started my card business, and then I started some ancillary products through Cards That Wow, because now I do corporate branding that's framed, and a lot of clients now are buying them for their top clients as gifts, and it's just kind of like snowballing into different things.
into different product verticals. So,
Yeah.
so this is one of the cards that you sent me of yours.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Kellen's Coffee Talk. And I was on her show and she sent me, whoa, I just dropped it. She just sent, I don't even want to give away these cards.
No, you have to.
I know. What people can't see is that it's, what's it called when it's raised?
It's like two-dimensional.
It's two-dimensional, but it's not printed on here. She actually makes this and puts them on these cards. So yeah, two-dimensional or embossed raised, and it's kind of sparkly.
Glitter,
right?
I love sparkle.
Like a glitter. They're cool. They're cool. But I definitely I was wowed, and I was and it was in line with something that I've been preaching for a long time. So for example, this is what I did have and what I still have used, and I stick them in when I send out books as gifts and things like that. And because I'm a big believer in it, which is offline personal touch. This is a high touch strategy to wow a customer that you've created. Not only that, you've created a unique way to do it, and people love custom. They love something that also reflects them. This is why, and I've encouraged people to create their own note cards. My note card isn't as cool as yours. Does not have a raised logo on here, dimensional logo. I do put a quote on the back side. Old ways won't open up new doors. So if someone gets like a free gift from me or a book, they get this little note card in there, and it is something that stands out. People aren't used to getting personalized note cards anymore. So I already had this, and so when I saw Kellen's idea, she said, "No, I've taken the note card business and the note card idea to a kind of a different level, and people don't want to throw away my cards. And granted, my card is way easier to throw away. It's just a piece of paper. Yours is not something people feel like there was work that went into the card, and they don't want to throw it away." Is that what you found?
Yes, and sometimes they keep them on their desks, and they keep them or on the back, like if they have a shelf or something. And it's also a creative way to keep top of mind. I mean, you may not be needed at that moment, but someday they'll go, "Oh, wait a minute." I mean, I think that would stand out more than a business card or something like that. So yeah, and I'm just trying to create, my whole thing was to make you stand out as your brand in a spectacular way, because that's what you do. You're passionate about, meaning you, just people in general, you as your your business, you want to stand out. You want to make people remember you, and I'm doing it in a fun way and a creative way that just makes me happy.
When did you start this?
I think I made my first card in April. It was April, right in the beginning when I was on Jeffrey Gitomer's course, that new normal course. And I connected with a bunch of people during that time period, and they gave me the courage, because I never would have done this before March. Never. Actually, I was afraid to go on a Zoom call in March. And now I have 2 live streams.
You have 2 live streams, and you're doing them every week or every day? What's your schedule?
So Tuesday, just before your show, I had my coffee talk, which I started in the new normal course because I was kind of floundering. I didn't know how to, I kind of knew how I was going to sell, but I wanted to be maybe confirmed or validated.
When she says the new normal course, for those people listening in their car several weeks or months from here, that's an online program that Jeffrey Gitomer put out that she was a part of, that encouraged her to go live. Sorry, just giving context to the listeners who may not know what you mean by that.
Well, what I created that show so that people could get information on how to do stuff. So I contacted people like you and experts in their field to help them out. And then that just grew into that. That's how the metamorphosis began. Yeah.
So I hope everyone's listening, that she created her morning Kellen's Coffee Talk show, and she brings on guests, other people of authority or expertise, to add value to her audience. But she doesn't just do it haphazardly. She strategically does it because people will ultimately say, well, Kellen, what do you do? Or how do you help people? What's your business? It gives her a outlet, a mouthpiece to be able to shout and share her message of cards that wow. And so it drives traffic and it drives attention without being pitchy about your business. So anybody who's watching this, who's like, well, how do I market myself? How do I get attention to my services or my products? She's giving you the path here. So you've been doing this consistently, this live show, for how long?
Since April.
April.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've had a steady increase of people who maybe have ordered cards from you since then as well.
I didn't really start selling them. This is November, September, late August is when I actually started taking orders.
Okay.
And I didn't even promote my business on the Coffee Talk, because I don't want to be blatant about it. But then finally I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's not why I'm doing the show. I was doing the show to help people. But then I thought, no, I can talk about my cards, and I just say a really quick little blurb, and if people want information, they contact me. Yeah.
And so I really encourage people to get over this this mindset of, if I'm promoting myself, people are going to think I'm being greedy, or I'm being pitchy, or just be trying to market my stuff. And the truth of the matter is, if you're adding value, you are obligated to share your products and services if you know it genuinely can help them. So in other words, you're doing yourself a disservice, but you're mainly doing potential customers who don't even know they would be your customer a disservice, because they're going home wondering how they can impress clients, wondering how they could stand out with prospects. This isn't just a client retention or a way to wow existing customers and clients. This is really an awesome prospecting strategy as well. Because if you send somebody something in the mail, which they're not used to getting as frequently, that wows people. I mean, I even had a guest on my show recently who also sent me something. It was kind of a gift, and I'm like, it was like at Christmas getting a package in the mail from this person, even though it was something small. That's how prospective customers would feel as well. If you would go out of your way, a little extra effort. It takes a little extra effort. Now, your cards take some effort. You're kind of the person who creates these. Like you said, you're doing this in the wee hours of the night. During the day, you're selling advertising. And then in the evenings, you're like, I got to create some more cards. I need to create cards. And you're a giver. You gave me cards and other people that have been your guests on your show, which is one way to get the word out, because those guests will share where they got these cards from, like I am now with the world, right? But I want people to understand where your mindset was and where it shifted to, which was, I don't really want to be, boasting about my card business, but wait a minute, you kind of owe it to people to do it, Kellen.
Yeah, I make them if I only send them to somebody that I think they'll do something good for.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that maybe don't need to be wowed as much.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't turn anybody down, but I'm just saying that you're a wow person. People on my show are wow people, and I want them to be able to send something that will make a lasting impression.
Yeah. So my question to everybody would be, what are you doing to make a lasting impression on your customers, on your prospective customers, people that might be within reach of you being able to do something unique and impressive? And it doesn't take a lot. It's not that like this somebody said that you're not targeting the right customers because these cost a little bit more money. They're not that expensive, especially the impact you can create by sending something so simple out to a prospective client. Now, your business, this is for those of you who came on a little late, Kellen turned a side hustle that she essentially started during the pandemic in March 2020-ish, and has now turned it into something that replaced her full-time advertising sales career. Now she's doing this full-time and putting all of her energy into it. She's seen the brand actually spin off into other areas. Like you mentioned, framed gifts. Can you hold up one? Do you have one near you that you could share?
I can show something similar because they're gifts for clients,
or maybe we could show one on the screen right now too, off your website. But go ahead, you can share.
I have one here, but I can't show you a branded one because, I guess you can show you those. Yeah. So the ones to the right, the Michelle and the Boston. I made one for Gitomer. He really liked that. He said,
Yeah.
nice
So
little
just his logo framed, but the logo isn't just a picture of a logo. It's art.
Yeah, it's 3-dimensional, and and like Michelle's, the one that says Michelle, she works for a human resource, she finds jobs for people. And her logo wasn't artful enough, so I took elements of it and kind of created something that would look pretty hanging on her business wall.
Got
And
it.
I did a lot of graduation cards this year. I'm on Christmas card season. It's winding up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Then, but the corporate gift, the corporate branding framed art it's a way for you to stand out, that your client receives that piece of art. He hangs it on his wall in his office. He's looking at it every day and thinking, oh, that's so cool. And then that's like the ultimate way to be permanent in your client's mind. In my opinion, that's
it's valid. So one of my mentors, Harvey Mackay, he wrote How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, which was his $1 million or million plus copy New York Times bestselling book. And he's written several other New York Times bestselling books since. One of his core things is giving a gift. And I know John Ruland, who wrote the book Giftology, that's a really good book on giving gifts as well. But Harvey was the first person I really learned and heard this from, which was, how do you come up with and give a gift that somebody would either use or see every single day? Okay. Now he says, I don't recommend getting like wind chimes, because those will annoy people and they'll hear it, drive them nuts. But something else that cements you in the mind of the customer, and they think of you and maybe even thank you in their mind every day. And you've got something that works as a piece of art that can go on their wall. We're talking about corporate branding, and they'll put it up and it'll remind them of you, but it'll also just make them feel good because it's about them. Right. And, when you put someone's name or you put someone's logo in front of them, that's, Dale Carnegie talks about this in How to Win Friends and Influence People, that the sweetest sound is the name of, is the sound of somebody's own name. I think aligned with that is seeing their own name, seeing their name in lights, seeing their name in a frame, seeing their business in a frame, things like this. This is why people have, including myself, have, past like framed articles that, being featured in magazines or newspapers up on their walls. That's just how it works. So you've created this business that allows people to do this for their clients.
Let me take it a step further. If you think about your logo, you put a lot of love, blood, sweat, and tears. It's a very personal, and you're passionate about it. Your clients are the same way. They've put, a lot of people put their whole heart and soul into creating their brand. Yeah. And what better gift than to honor that brand? That was my philosophy. But you're not just so everyone understands, she's not just sending them a picture of their brand. It's a creative art piece that she's doing. This is actually the timing of doing this is actually really, really powerful, because we're recording this live. Well, you might be listening back to this, and you most certainly will still need to buy gifts for clients or prospective clients or people who have been your vendor or served you in some way or another. But we're approaching, and we're just over a month away from the holidays and Christmas, and what a great opportunity here to stand out during the holidays. So one of the most, I'll just share a little gift story with everyone, and Kellen, you don't know this either, is that one year we had a ergonomic office chair client, and we were helping them sell ergonomic office chairs, and these chairs ranged from anywhere from $300 to $700 a piece. And the $700 one was like an executive ergonomic office chair, and I have one in my office across from me at my desk. And the client said, if you want to buy one of our chairs for one of your clients, I recommend doing it in their brand color, and we'll make the seat color
like if it's Gitomer, it's red, right? And sure enough, Jeffrey Gitomer's chair that we sent him that year, that ergonomic chair, was a red seat and a black back. One of my other clients was an executive business coach, and his brand was blue. So he got a blue chair with a black back. And this was 2012.
Wow.
This about 8-9 months ago now, he texted me and said, "Do you remember this? I still sit in this every day." And it was a picture of his chair. So here he is sitting in my gift every single day. I mean, it's that's the point we're trying to make, is what's a gift you can give people, and you've given them a creative outlet to do that. This is a way to wow your customers. So how many of you watching, if you're watching this live and you're able to comment, how many of you think this was an opportunity for us to wow our customers? How many of you think that what Kellen's sharing is a way to wow your customers? And it also, what we haven't talked about anything digitally. This is all tangible.
Yes.
Your cards are tangible. And mine doesn't do it justice, because you have to feel mine to really understand the value of how awesome it is, because showing it on a screen like this doesn't do it justice. But these are tangible opportunities to wow your customer. And I was interviewing Steve Sims last week, and Steve Sims wrote a book called Blue Fishing. And he talks about, in that book, why sending a note card or a card is better than sending email every single time, he says. I've
been writing, you may know this about me or not, on over 6 years now. Every Monday I write I call it my Gratitude Monday. And I write a note to somebody who has inspired me, who I'm thinking about. I mean, I've gone back through high school and my trigonometry teacher, so every Monday for the last over 6 years, I handwrite a note to somebody. And then I created the cards for my day job, the real estate. And people would actually email me to say, thank you for the card. They're either thanking me for a thank you. So that's how that was the first inkling I had that, this is something, I'm onto something here.
That could be a title of your book. Thank you for the thank you.
Well, my first book's going to be Becoming a Woman of Wow.
I love this. So let's repeat that. Her first book is called Becoming a Woman of Wow. And then you shared with me before pre-show what your second book's going to be, which is called what?
Raising a Woman of Wow.
Raising a Woman of Wow. Let's go back to what you said, though, about the metric. The metric is, here's how you know you wowed the customer. Because first I say, what are you trying to do? You're trying to wow them. How do you know that you wowed them? What's the metric? What's the measuring stick? And the measuring stick for you was people started thanking me for the thank you cards, because that stood out to them.
Right.
And this is such an important lesson for everybody watching. So what are some other ideas that you have for people? And so let's talk about the gift giving. Okay. How is somebody
for Christmas? I mean, you can wow your client all year long.
Yeah. So it's not just for the holidays.
Right.
In fact, one of the other things that Harvey taught me was the worst time to send your customer a gift is during Christmas, because now there are two reasons. They get too many. Number two, they're comparing it possibly, and it can get lost in the shuffle. He always says, send it to them for Thanksgiving or New Year's, somewhere else during that holiday timeline where they normally wouldn't get a gift.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I got tired of sending Christmas cards at Christmas because, I'd get like 40, 50 of them. And I started Groundhog's Day cards.
Groundhog. I love that.
I said, I got so many, a lot of my friends.
What was the response?
It's like, nobody sends Groundhog Day cards.
Yeah.
You can't even buy them. So I had to make them.
What would you say to somebody who's watching this, who's thinking about starting their own side hustle business? I know we're kind of talking about two different things here, but I think it's inspiring that you started this part-time during the pandemic and now you're pursuing it full-time. And in just a few short months, what would you tell somebody who's really hung up on, I don't have time to start something else? Or maybe somebody who has a vision for what their part-time side hustle business might be as an entrepreneur, but isn't taking that leap.
I think the most important thing for me was trusting my intuition. I had low self-confidence in the beginning of this. the group that I joined with Megamind, the group you're a part of, gave me confidence to try things out and rebuild the trusting of my intuition. And with that, with trusting your intuition, having the confidence and the passion, you got to love it. If you don't love it, then you don't want to wake up at 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. and start designing a card because you thought of one, or stay up till 11 because, I got to write this next chapter of my book or part of my book. I mean, you have to absolutely love it and be passionate about it. And then you are guaranteed success, in my opinion.
So did you start this in a big office?
You know the answer to this.
I know, that's why I'm asking. Does somebody have to have an office to start their...
No, I've been working out of my closet.
What do you mean by that? If you don't mind sharing.
Well, I'm living in a very tiny area, very small home while my daughter finishes her senior year because I wanted her to graduate from this school, and I had to live in the school district. So I'm in a very tiny place that has a really big closet in my room. So I put all my desks and everything in the closet, and I bought lighting, but I got a little claustrophobic. So now I've got another table outside the closet. I feel like I'm a little more human, but I feel like a Hallmark, I'm not starting in a garage. I'm starting in a closet.
Yeah.
So you don't need a big office.
So some of the biggest brands in the world started in garages, right?
Mm-hmm.
You definitely could trend here. So you could start your business out of a closet.
Yes.
That should have been the title of the show. How to wow your customers
from your closet.
Starting your business part-time out of your closet. I want this. Now people are starting to realize, they're like, this is achievable for me. And what you're doing is you're breaking down barriers, Kellen, without even knowing that you're doing it, for yourself, and you're helping other people do the same, who are still trying to figure out, how do I pursue my dream? Or they make excuses. I don't have the space for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the room to do. You're doing live streaming shows out of your closet.
Yeah. Well, right? If it's nice out, I go outside because it's better lighting. But it's going to start raining now, so I'm back in the closet.
Yeah. Brett says this is going to be an amazing origin story for Kellen. It is. So
you
let's
can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up. So, and you've learned multiple lessons in this discussion about creative ways to not just kind of start and launch and get your business going, but how to genuinely make an impact on customers and attract people to you. So I talk about creating digital attraction so people can kind of come to you and you can add value. You're doing that through your live streaming shows, and as a result, they are not accidentally stumbling upon, but they're coming upon and stumbling upon your business, which is the cards that wow, the gifts that wow business. And it's turning into more than just cards, and it's turning into the framed art and things like this. What are some other plans you have for the business for that's aligned with this premise of how do I wow customers?
Well, I have an actual art line where I paint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to paint. It's actually portraits of dogs. It's not as much corporate branding, but people love their dogs, and I've got this idea where I'm going to incorporate a painting with the paper art and make it a 3-dimensional piece. And then there's my little Gus and Rocco.
Is that an example?
Those are actually Christmas cards I sent out to my pug following, because I have a pug following. I had a blog.
You have a pug owner's following. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the pugs like me too. That's another show, awesome. Joe. That's another show. We can talk about pug racing.
Awesome. So you're also creating cards. I'll break it down for everyone because some people will get lost in translation here, for niche audiences.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you're creating cards for you got the corporate, you also got the pet lovers, and
mm-hmm.
That you're doing this for. People love to. I get Christmas cards from people, and it's like them and their dogs,
mm-hmm.
or their pets.
Can I show you something I made at 2 a.m. the other night?
Please.
It has nothing to do with branding, but I just thought, little puppy with bones.
Wait, hold on. Let me remove me out of the screen so we can see that.
Merry Promise.
That is
That's what happens when I wake up. I'm like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love dogs. So
again, it's hard for some people to see the three-dimensional effect of that piece of art, but that's how her cards are. Her cards aren't just creative art. They're creatively done because they're embossed and it's raised print. And how long does it take you to make a set of cards?
it depends. Like yours are really easy because it's like 3 pieces. Ronnie Goodwin's card took forever because he had 12 separate pieces that I had to put together. So I can do, well, like yesterday I did 100 of them.
Yeah.
One was kind of complex. One was pretty easy. So yeah, but I don't, you know what? I'll start working and then I'll look up and it's 4 o'clock, now. And I love work. It's so nice that I can work during the day now. Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
Well, yeah, because your hours are shifted. You're not working at 2 a.m. from your closet. You're working daytime hours.
Yes. I'm not on the night anymore.
Congratulations on this business. So just for everyone's information, they can go to cardsthatwow.com.
Mm-hmm.
And what will they find there? I
have a gallery where you can see there's the Goodwin card. See, there's like a million parts for that card. They can see that some of the designs, I try to update it as the new designs come in. I've done some birthday cards that I think they might be on there. And I've done some sympathy cards now. I get an order for 1 card or 100. So there's no minimum or maximum if you want to, whatever you want to order. And then there's a contact me, like a contact link where you can send me. And then I'm trying to build an email campaign, I'm using MailChimp right now.
Yeah.
And because I've got I've already made templates for all my emails. I'm just trying to figure out how to run it and use it so that I can spread my word quicker. I knew somebody that could help me.
Well, okay, let me help you, but not just you, but everybody who's trying to grow their list, right? So the simplest way to do it, we've heard the terms lead magnets or free opt-ins and things like this. And my advice to Kellen was to come up with some sort of maybe free download that could be creative, but maybe it's a video of you sharing 3 ways that you can wow your clients or wow your prospects. Okay. Maybe we can do some work on that headline. 3 creative ways to wow your prospects and clients. So they pick up the phone.
Wow your brand. Right? How to wow your brand.
Oh yeah. Say it again.
3 ways to wow your brand.
3 ways to wow your brand. Okay. And then the way to do that is she has one way, which is her business, but that can be number 3. So number 1 can be, or maybe 2 of the 3 can be around what you did. So 1 can be whatever. 2 can be gift giving. 3 can be card giving. 2 of those 3 things, you could lead people back to you to be able to fulfill and execute on that 3-part strategy, right? And so coming up with, the magic numbers are 3 or 7, right? 3 might be easier. And allowing people to get instant access to 3 creative ways to wow your brand, to wow your customers that you haven't yet thought of, okay? Then they'll be inclined to give her their email address. You have to create an irresistible offer that people are happy in exchange for that piece of value, give you in return their phone number or their email. That's how you build your list. And then every time you do a show, you send people to that free offer, not just to your website. Right. Because websites don't convert that well. The average Shopify site only converts about 3%. Of all the visitors. So 97% of people are bouncing off and going somewhere else and shopping or leaving things in the shopping cart. I know this. We're in the e-commerce business as well. So you have to have e-commerce funnels or e-commerce landing pages with a irresistible offer. So same thing with what I told Kellen, but it's for everybody's sake. And that'll bring more traffic, more people into your brand. And I'm excited to see where your business is going to go here.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
I know there's the other thing is I think there's ways for you to probably get very large corporate orders as you bring this on. Now, I know that you're still working on how do I scale production. That's for a different show, but I think that's going to be a good problem to have. I don't think you're going to be that far away from that.
I'm looking forward to that problem.
Yeah. So, Kellen, how do people find you again? One last time.
www.cardsthatwow.com. www.cardsthatwow.com. I don't know how to say that. You can find me on Facebook as well. I get a lot of my orders. People find me on my Cards That Wow Facebook page. And yeah, that's the easiest.
Awesome. And if you guys found value in this show, of course, share it out. Share it with people they'll be able to watch the replay on your social media. If you would be so kind to find me on YouTube or find me on the podcast channels, you can go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and give me a review. I'd really appreciate that. We're going to continue to bring some exciting guests just like Kellen today. Kellen, thanks so much for being on the show. Everyone go to cards.wow.com and make sure that you too find your own way to not be average. Kellen, you are not average. Thanks for being my guest today.
Thank you
everyone,
so much, Joe.
with you guys next
Thanks,
time.
everybody.